All right, so what's going on here? I just watched the Idaho 4 student murders on Discovery Plus, and I just been uploading some quick shorts. Let me just start by saying I am mainly an artist on here. I usually utilize this on the past couple of years. I've been given a second chance at life, so I started playing music again and getting my life back together. So, but true crime is something that has always like intrigued me. Even my wife, we've been through a lot of tragedies, a lot of experience with loss and stuff like that. So, we've studied Bundy, BTK, Night Stalker, all that stuff, and so it's crazy that the media seems to be setting up this Brian Koberger narrative. And what I want to ask is, since when has the media told us the truth? I mean, we have been witnessing history even last week with Tucker Carlson coming out with the January 6th stuff, which I don't want to tie. It's not that I mean to tie politics into this, but we've witnessed a lot with media telling us lies and holding people accountable that are not, and people being set free after 18 years or so of being incarcerated. So, this little live that I want to do is just to introduce myself, even. And the Discovery Plus episode really didn't have anything new. I think they were just doing it for ratings and views and things of that nature, maybe, or just to get started on it, because the trial's in what, June, I want to say it is again. And so I want to get down real fast because I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Hopefully, people will end up watching this later when you have time. So I wanted to do a real fast one. So here we go. I don't think there's concrete evidence on Brian, and I'm not sticking up for Brian. I think the families deserve more, if I may say that. I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm not trying to put down the families or anything like that. But this just seems like there's so much more missing. And I know there's gag orders, and I see you creators out there, and I give you so much credit for what you guys are doing and the time that you involve yourselves. Like I said, I am just starting to play my music again. You could look on my channel. You could see some of the music that I just started uploading. I just started kind of like getting myself better again, and able to sing and play again, because it takes a lot. I mean, drugs have like completely taken down my abilities in certain areas where I was just able to like really go to work, come home, be a dad a little bit that I could. I've had, issues with that, but I've always been always here, just now being more sober minded. It's a great life. Let me just say that, if I will. I always hate saying that I'm happy, it's like, fuck, how do I express happiness in such a sullen fucking world? Because it seems like the only way you get noticed is, excuse me, the only way you get noticed and everything is by being, fucking dark and this. And I had my day of that, and I have had my fun in the sun. Believe me, it's wasn't all bad. It just became unmanageable, which that's what addiction is. But anyways, back to this. So um, they don't have a murder weapon. They don't really have much. The guy was. It's not like he left town right away. Um, he waited, I guess, till the break. Um, sure, they have cell phone stuff with the guy around the house at certain times and everything, but this was not only a party house, This was a fucking drug house. This was a mysterious, strange. I mean, let's not say strange because I mean, well, it can be. People are strange in that world, and young fucking 20-year-olds. I was like that, and I wanted to be strange, weird. The most experiences. I wanted to touch death and come back and tell about it, and you know, like Jim Morrison. I wanted to be like that, man, and so these kids are in the home. There's so many in and out and this and that. This roommate thing just does not. And Dylan, if you see this by any chance, or if anybody ends up seeing this by any chance, you're only guilty if you're guilty. But they're talking about blood all over the house. There must have not have been that much, or then there's the fucking the way it went down is not being told correctly, because I don't think they really even know. They don't know who was really first, who was second, what happened third. They just don't know. They hear little tidbits. One of Dylan's friends talking about, she was standing in a doorway and told him to be quiet and all this stuff, and then heard a voice saying, don't worry, I'm gonna save you. Which I posted a short on that about, mind fuck, which that is a mind fuck. And I think about that because I've been around some creepy people, and when I went to the county jail in Chicago, and I'm not bashing these people either. They're fucking humans and they're people, and we're all people. But I'll tell you what, there's some things you just don't want to be around, and you don't want to meet certain types, and you just don't. And it just seems like people are so quick to slam dunk this guy. And I want to say some creators' names, but I don't want to bust anybody out. It's not about busting out, even if it's good. I'm not yet doing it. I'll tag some people and stuff, and then you'll know who I watch basically with this stuff. Um, and I think that you guys, like I said, are great. I just think that we are going too fast and need to pump the brakes a little bit and take Brian out of this equation and start over. I think we need to kind of start over, find out a little bit more, see if we could find out a little bit more, because there's a gag orders. There's all these gag orders for a reason. There's going to be some kind of twist, some kind of turn, some kind of tide that's going to happen. Um, because even one of the victims' moms was with, drugs and was arrested, and the whole thing with Ann Taylor's her name, the public defender, who now is getting paid some pretty big money, and God bless you. God bless you. It's not a bad thing. And now you can have assistance and a whole team, and that's what it takes. We are innocent until proven guilty. I don't think anybody out there would want a trial by media, because it is fucking hard to win after you've been slammed by everybody. It just seems like they knew YouTubers were going to take it and run. The internet sleuths were going to take this case and run. So they want it like this. I think it just seems like they want it like this, and it's too fast, too much. Because I know it's like June. You can't wait. We need it. We want it. We want more, and that's great too. And hey, I like it too, but I think there are people out there close to this, that are walking around that know more. A fucking 8, 9 hour gap. I don't care who you are. If it was Jesus Christ that was standing in a doorway, that I would question Jesus. I really would. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But this girl, who was only a foot away from the bedroom, or 2 feet maybe, these noises and thuds and screams, and you hear murder happening and stuff like that. This is not some kind of ordinary just yells and screams, or like people having sex in the other room. I mean, it is a fucking college house, so I'm sure, not to down anybody there either. I know we're all sensitive today, so I don't want to, really cross the line here. I want to follow the guidelines. Like I said, I'm just starting out here and building a base and wanting to do well. Matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to the town that I do work in, that I have not taken for granted, but I think I should do more, and I give back a lot in my service. But in Glencoe, Illinois, if people from Glencoe end up watching this, this is your waiter. Thank you so much. But I just try to pay you guys back with the best service I can. And so, with that being said, I want to say that there's people that know more in this case, and I think the judge knows that. I think that the public defenders know that. Even think the people on the family side knows that. I think they really haven't found evidence with Brian, like they wanted to, like they really want to. And I know I know the gag orders with that and stuff like that, but even with gag orders they would come out with, if they found a knife, if they found, believe me, they're looking for the bloody glove, and the sooner they could announce finding a weapon, they would. I mean, they're not going to wait till the trial to finally come out and say they have a murder weapon. I mean, the whole fucking world is dying for this case and dying for something to happen, and they just barely got this suspect. I mean, you think about Ted Bundy now. If Ted Bundy was a better fucking driver, he would have never been caught. They had no evidence, no nothing. And they're saying, well, with today's technology, they may have caught him or whatever, but even with so many of these guys, they can barely catch them. And well, let me not lie. I do love that there's a police presence in Law and Order. I do see that there are some problems with it. There's bad apples out there that make a lot of them look bad, and that's a shame. Because policing, once you have bad apples, it's so fucking hard to overturn that and to get back into people's good graces, because it's just the way it goes with that. And so I know many people really don't know me as much today, so hopefully we could build from this. But yeah, Brian, and I'm not sticking up for Brian at all. This is about just taking Brian out of the equation, and really looking at what we have here, because this is like fucking opening your file cabinet drawer when you're looking for an important document that you need to go file your taxes the next day, and you forgot where you put it. So you're fucking rummaging through this stuff, and you're trying to come up with something. You're trying to find anything that resembles, because your time is running out and your appointment is near, and you need to just bring something to prove who you are. And the police really need to prove who they are in this, because they've been told that they were understaffed. They couldn't handle this. This is not something that they've done. They're not equipped. So they were pretty ripped. And don't get me wrong, this police chief and captain and stuff handled himself very, very well. I think the guy is well spoken. I think he's very professional. But as it's been stated, when they first got to the house, it was an unconscious person, and they came in there. They probably fucking distorted stuff right away, didn't really know what they had, as it's been stated. Some News Nation channels and channels around saying that it happened this way first. Other people are saying it happened this way. This Discovery Plus is saying it's another way. How he, same how he got in on the second floor. But did he get Xana and Ethan first and then go upstairs? Or did he go upstairs and then come down? So now, then you had people saying Ethan was kind of in the doorway and hallway, which Dylan's room was right across from there, allegedly, I guess, unless the maps are wrong too. So any of you creators out there, can I say some people's names? I just want to. Is it okay if I say, like, True Crime Time? I think your mind is great. I saw you had a map and everything like that. I would like to see again, because I saw one. If you guys watch Discovery Plus, if anybody has it, they'll show you a diagram of where they believe Brian did and what happened. And so, the fucking DoorDash driver, they clear this guy like real fast, or girl, I don't know, DoorDash guy, what does it take? Fucking a second? He was in the house for 16 minutes, maybe even just a little bit less. They really don't know. I mean, they have, and then the thuds and the screams that you hear from somebody else's camera, what was it, 50 yards away? That's a half a football field away. And you're going to tell me that Dylan didn't fucking arouse her suspicion to call 911? I don't give a fuck. I was 20 years old too. I was 20 years old. If I knew, and supposedly, let me, hopefully I say this correctly, somebody could correct me. She was not as close to the others as the others were as close to themselves, basically. She was newer. She was there. There was another roommate who was allegedly sleeping and slept through it. But, and, I've slept through things too. I've slept through fucking tornadoes of lightning and stuff and woken up late for work. And, thunder like woke me up and I'm like, what the hell? And those rare occasions that I've, overslept things and stuff like that. But, I mean, this girl, even so, supposedly saw somebody and you fucking still don't call 911. I mean, just a sure chance. And for these families to go on the news, and again, not something is not right. Something is just not right. They have such composure, and to hold it just seems like when the fucking cameras start rolling, people really change. And it I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that notices that. If you end up watching this and you notice something like that, feel free to communicate with me down there, because it seems like when it's lights, camera, action, baby, these fucking people just know how to pull it together and make it look like a movie already. It's crazy. It's crazy ridiculous. And being a musician and the artist, my big fucking thing right now is these lip singing and this audio over live. It's like, play the fucking song, and that's what I'm trying to do. If you look at my stuff and everything, it's just me, man, with the guitar and the drums and everything else. It's just me, and I think it is diluting everything in our fucking world. um Fake is winning. I was gonna go on Reddit and start that. Fake is winning. That's me. If anybody's ever seen the hashtag fake is winning, and it sure is. And in this case, something is fake. Something is not adding up. There's no way in any fucking police town they would clear this roommate this quickly, and these kids that came to the house allegedly are Ethan's friend, and then they checked the pulse supposedly and were is in the fucking house roaming around supposedly with all this blood that was allegedly dripping out a window and everything. This is supposed to be a horror fucking scene. I get it that they're younger bodies, and as one of the officers claimed, it looked like they were like mannequins and stuff. They were perfectly kept dolls, as one said or stated. And I've seen it. I've seen death. I've seen blood. The smell of blood is just god awful. Excuse me. I vape, and I've quit a lot of things. So please don't get on me about the you jewel. I know this is not the jewel this time, but I'm working on it. But anyways, fucking smell of blood especially when it's set in and it's in the air, and that's like this carcass smell that is just, and it's just like a dead body. A notification somewhere else and it accidentally switched over, sorry about that. The smell of a dead body is just so overwhelming that you just know what it is. Smell of blood, you just know what it is. When I walk into my fucking house, even today, and something is off. I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been through tragedies, and it's just something that's in me. I don't know. But even at the young age, we knew what self-defense was, self-awareness. And I'm not trying to pick on this generation of kids either. It just seems like they're lost in this fucking technology here. And believe me, it could be used for positive. It definitely can be used for positive, but it's another way to get us dreaming and fucking sleepwalking and not learning shit. And this case just there's been so many murder cases, serial killers, and with evidence that this is like the most minimalist evidence I've ever seen get somebody locked up. And I mean, he's in jail. He is locked up, basically waiting trial. They won't let him out um, because of the circumstances, obviously. And again, not saying that I don't want anybody caught. I just don't think. And if even if Brian never even mentioned about, like, is there another person, I could care less about that. I could care less. That could be reverse psychology, in his case. And don't get me wrong, even what they're saying, like he was in the fucking kitchen area with medical gloves on, we really don't know that. There's been so many fucking media outlets like the New York Times, all this fake news crap that fucking sells people down a river, makes them look horrible, horrible. And turns out it was never real. And they just shrug their fucking shoulders like it's no big deal. They just ruin somebody's life and move on. And we need to change that. We really need to fucking change that. Us people, you, me, we have to change that. Only we can do that. And it's not that hard. I mean, I've been doing this new thing now, and all we need is a few fucking good voices out there, and we can change that and get the truth, get the truth behind what really is happening. So in the case of this, Brian Koberger, the Idaho 4, I just do not see it yet. Who knows? I could end this live, and all of a sudden, they have this murder weapon. Sure, they had this sheath that some dumbass left there, which just proves that somebody was in the house. It's a party house. That's an easy thing to just say, well, my client was there on such and such date. He fucking touched something. Who knows? It doesn't have to be his. It could be whatever. I mean, even if it is his, close person told me, I don't want to bust anybody out on this. I mean, and because when I started changing my life, and I still made some mistakes here and there, and it's like I always want to like admit, like, hey, it was my fault. I did it. I take responsibility, and let's move on. Never say anything to the cops. Never tell them anything, because they will just use your words and turn them against you faster than you could even fucking turn around again. And so in this case, I think that's what they're doing. I think that they were pressured. The fucking Moscow Police Department was under such pressure because Kaylee's dad was out there talking a little bit, keeping it going and keeping the pressure on. Police weren't communicating with them, and so they start. And I would do the same thing too. God forbid, if anything happened, I would I would never listen to the police department or the media. I'd be out there fucking finding my daughter's killer or my fucking son, whatever. God forbid, knock on wood, that never happens to me. But I would never listen to the police if they told me, just don't say nothing, don't go. No way I am going to find or try to, whether it risks my own life. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. And so these police needed to find somebody fast. They got on the white Elantra. They tore apart this car, and supposedly still nothing. Still nothing. So whether his car was plasticed up before he did it. I mean, this guy, even though allegedly, if it was his sheath, if it wasn't, He left some trails of himself, but if this was a planned, like I think it was a targeted attack, this fucking guy planned it out pretty good, whoever it was. And, you know, no murder weapon, no nothing, and they have these poor bodies and this poor family and Brian Koberger out of all people, you know, as far as the nobody knows nothing about him, just a no past, still haven't conjured up anything, and a couple of friends came. I mean, he was a heroin addict, you know, so I get that, and so I just don't see it. They need to come with more if it is him. Let's just put it that way. They have to keep digging and keep fighting and keep getting justice for this family, because they do deserve that. They do deserve it. But at this moment in time, you guys could stretch out what you want and talk about your theories and this and that, because it's becoming a broken record now. There's nothing else. We can't go any farther. There's nowhere else but people's own opinions, and that's just like a cold case with just somebody sitting locked up waiting for trial, and you know nobody could say anything because there's a twist in this. There is a twist in this beyond belief. They just don't want to let Brian out because they need to have somebody in just for the sake of having somebody arrested. um, they could have picked up anybody and it'd be the same thing if they had gotten some kind of word about somebody else who had a white Elantra. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. They would be doing the same thing to the person holding them, wouldn't let him get out. So let's see. He traveled cross country back with his dad, had all this stuff. He was in the kitchen, like I was saying, with the medical gloves on, allegedly. Again, this is all allegedly from media that never tells us the truth. So I can't believe it. I won't just yet. And again, not to stick up for Brian or not to stick up for crazy ass people and serial killers or anything like that. It's, do I say this? I just think that sometimes police, it's not just regular police like detectives or higher ups. It just seems like their jobs are made easy for them because the pressure's on and they need an arrest. And so the judge, the prosecution, and everything just kind of goes with it instead of really saying and stepping back and saying, what do we really have? I mean, because it wasn't his DNA, wasn't in the CODIS system. They went to the other way for the family tree to find out whose DNA this was, and that's great because I think they got the Golden State guy, I guess, with that after all these years. I mean, it took it took so long to get that guy too on top of it. So let's just face it. As much as I like police, I mean, they just don't know how to solve these crimes. It's a shame. It's such a shame. It really, really is. I mean, I'm gonna talk about this because it kind of fits into what I'm trying to say here. You know, being a white boy that I was going into a black neighborhood to cop drugs, I would get pulled over or stopped for being white. And they could have put a bag on me, 10 bags, 20 bags, threw a pistol in the car and fucking threw me in jail. And it was their word against mine. And I would be locked up, rotting away, having to plea my case in a jumpsuit or in a DOC outfit. And that is really behind the eight ball. You think paying for an attorney and getting a high priced attorney when you really can't afford it in the first place and you hope that you win so you could pay him back. That's the only way, the only hope that is. So when you're in a jumpsuit, it's not easy to fight a case, and that's why they have him in there. They want to bury and try to get as much circumstantial stuff to where the fucking entire universe starts pleading Brian guilty, you know, and once again, I'm not sticking up for Brian. What I'm saying is I think the families deserve more. I think they deserve better policing. Somebody out there is lying. Somebody knows something. Whether it's the roommates, the fucking friends, somebody is not, and I know there's gag orders, but they're talking out there. Somebody knows something. I mean, what are they going to do to you if you do tell the truth? Really? I mean, there's not much, you know. So I mean, yeah, they lock people up for telling the truth today. So, you know, I can't imagine what they do to people who don't tell the truth, you know. So they're letting them go free. But they put all these sheets of paper together with all this same stuff, black, 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 black. He's got a black this, he's got a black that. My fucking work outfit is black. I go to work in a black uniform. I'm wearing a black shirt. I mean, I have so many things of black. If the cops were to fucking bust down my door, if somebody did a crime down the block who was wearing black, I mean, how many of us would, if the cops came in and had to do an inventory on our stuff, you know, now granted, I don't think I'd be walking around with medical gloves on through my house. But again, that's hearsay. You know, that is just hearsay for a news outlet. We have no idea who it is, and the media never tells us the truth. Just think about, I'm just going to hone in on that because there's a lot of great creators out there that are just going with it because, you know, I say go against the grain. I say go against the grain and then maybe we'll find something else. I think we take Brian out of this equation and we find more. I mean, there is no way. Most of this stuff is never random. It's always somebody close, like the 911 caller turns out to be the fucking killer. The person who helps the police turns out to be the one who fucking murdered the person. The person who helps the victim's family members turns out to be the one who killed the family member. You know, it's just the way it goes here. There is rarely some random, and this is my half hour now, so I am going to kind of cut it down. But I just wanted to come on because this Discovery Plus thing came on and it kind of revved my thing up for this Idaho4 thing because I don't know. I don't know if it's just the criminal mind thing or whatever. I just get intrigued by these types of cases. It is a shame that this happened, and again, not sticking up for Brian. So whoever comes across this, it's not even about that. It's more to do with I feel somebody's hiding something and there's more to be revealed out there, and hopefully they fucking find it before the trial, but I'm sure it's not going to happen. It's going to be these insane theories that are going to keep coming out, and you know, and see what happens. I mean, there's no way that this guy knew how to get around that house or girl for that matter, I don't know, and be as quiet and calculated and planned and knew exactly where he wanted to be in that house from the time of arrival. You know, maybe Brian dropped the guy off. I don't know. He fucking circled the house allegedly. You know, they had him on a car. Maybe somebody dropped somebody off, which means he's guilty, obviously. I mean, it's still, but yeah, there's no way this person got in the house because, like I was saying earlier, you could do a virtual tour of things until you are in the moment. That's when it really matters. That's when the time is on and you're on. It's just like even getting trained for a job, getting trained for professional sports, music, going on live, going play a concert. You could fucking placate all you want and practice all you want, but once you get on there is when it's game time, man. So I just think we take Brian out of the equation a little bit just to see, and see what we come up with, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care, man.